Welcome to Neo Nexus. Here we journey to the heart of Hawaii, a place that seems like paradise on Earth, with its emerald mountains, endless blue seas, and a sense of timeless wonder. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories from the edge of nature and history. Join us as we uncover the hidden tales that shaped our world. The Hawaiian Islands, isolated for millions of years, became a cradle for unique life. Birds with dazzling feathers, plants found nowhere else. Evolution here took its own path, creating a living museum of rare species, each perfectly adapted to this remote environment. But this isolation made Hawaii's ecosystem fragile, unprepared for outside threats. The balance was delicate, and even the smallest disruption could have enormous consequences. When humans arrived, they brought stowaways, rats, who found paradise with no predators. These newcomers slipped ashore unnoticed, but their impact would soon be felt everywhere. The rats multiplied rapidly, devastating native birds and plants. They raided nests, devoured seeds, and gnawed through the very fabric of Hawaii's natural world. By the 1800s, sugarcane plantations dominated Hawaii, and rats feasted on the crops, causing huge economic losses. The fields became battlegrounds, with farmers fighting a losing war against the relentless invaders. Plantation owners were desperate. Traps and poisons failed, the rats kept coming. Every harvest brought new frustration, as the rodents outsmarted every attempt to stop them. The sugar industry was Hawaii's economic engine, and the rat plague threatened its future. Profits dwindled, and the livelihoods of thousands hung in the balance. The search began for a permanent, natural solution, a biological weapon to wipe out the rats. Scientists and plantation owners brainstormed, hoping to find an answer in nature itself. The stakes were high: save the crops, save the economy. Every decision carried weight, and the pressure to act grew with each passing season. But in their desperation, the planters overlooked the delicate balance of island life. The interconnected web of species was more fragile than they realized. They wanted a miracle cure, not realizing the risks of tampering with nature. Sometimes, the simplest solution can unleash the most complex problems. The stage was set for a decision that would change Hawaii forever. The fate of the islands hung in the balance, as hope and fear collided. Sometimes, the greatest threats come not from what we fear, but from the solutions we choose. In trying to save paradise, we risked losing it. The hunt for a rat killer was about to unleash a new kind of disaster, one that would echo through Hawaii's forests for generations to come. The idea was simple, on paper at least. Faced with a growing problem, people often look for a single, elegant solution. Something quick, effective, and easy to implement. In this case, the answer seemed obvious. Why not fight one animal with another? If rats were the enemy, perhaps nature itself could provide the cure. Planters had heard stories from Jamaica, where mongooses were introduced to control rats that plagued the sugarcane fields and threatened their profits. The mongoose, a quick and cunning predator from India, was celebrated as a rat-killing hero, a natural solution to a man-made problem. Desperate for relief from the relentless rat infestations, Hawaiian plantation owners saw the mongoose as their silver bullet, a miracle fix that would save their crops and their livelihoods. They believed nature could be engineered to suit their needs. Introduce a predator, and the problem would simply disappear. It was a bold, almost audacious plan. But in the late 1800s, ecology was barely understood. The delicate balance of island ecosystems was a mystery to most. The focus was on profit and productivity, not on the potential environmental impact or long-term consequences. No one paused to ask what else the mongoose might eat, or how it would fit into Hawaii's unique and fragile ecosystem. The risks were invisible or simply ignored. The planters pushed forward, convinced they were making a smart, forward-thinking business move that would secure their future. The Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association quickly arranged for the importation of the small Indian mongoose, eager to put their plan into action. They saw themselves as innovators, pioneers on the cutting edge of agricultural science, not as meddlers in a complex web of life. But their confidence would soon give way to regret, as their so-called silver bullet became one of history's most infamous ecological mistakes, a cautionary tale for generations to come. In 1883, 72 small Indian mongooses made their journey across the ocean to the Hawaiian Islands. They arrived with great anticipation and hope. These creatures, bred in captivity, were then released across the islands: Big Island, Maui, Molokai, and Oahu. The plan was simple yet ambitious. The agricultural community celebrated, expecting a modern scientific solution to their rat problem. It was a time of optimism and high hopes. Newspapers praised the planter's friend, heralding the mongoose as a savior of the sugar cane fields. The mongoose quickly became a symbol of progress and innovation, a beacon of hope for the struggling plantations. But no one considered a crucial fact: mongooses are active by day, while rats are nocturnal, active by night. The two would rarely meet, an ecological blind spot that was overlooked in the excitement of the plan. As mongooses roamed the cane fields in daylight, rats slept safely in their burrows, undisturbed and unthreatened. The planters waited for the rat population to crash, but nothing changed. The fields remained plagued by the same old problem. The mongoose, a supposed specialist, was unleashed with little understanding of its habits and the complex ecosystem it was entering. Optimism reigned initially, but the reality was about to bite back, as the plan's flaws became apparent. Thousands of mongooses now roamed Hawaii, and the world watched for results, curious about the outcome of this grand experiment. The investment was made, the animals released, there was no turning back. The expectation was a miracle, a solution to the rat problem. The reality, however, was a ticking time bomb, a miscalculation that would have lasting consequences. Sometimes the simplest solutions hide the biggest dangers, and this was a lesson learned too late. The mongoose experiment was a cautionary tale of unintended consequences. The vision was clear: a rat-free Hawaii, thriving crops and prosperity restored. The mongoose was expected to stick to rats and stay in the cane fields. People believed in a clean, targeted fix, a living tool to surgically remove the rat problem. The public bought into the story of human ingenuity conquering nature's pests. The planters promised a perfect intervention, with no side effects. But this utopian dream ignored the complexity of nature. The hope was for a predator that would do exactly as intended, forever. The reality was far messier. The stage was set for a dramatic and costly lesson in ecological humility. The rat problem didn't go away. Rats thrived at night, mongooses hunted by day. The two rarely crossed paths. An epic miscalculation. With rats unavailable, mongooses turned to easier prey: Hawaii's defenseless native birds. Ground-nesting birds, unaccustomed to predators, became easy targets. Eggs and chicks vanished, bird populations plummeted. The mongoose's appetite was broad: birds, insects, lizards, even sea turtle eggs. The nani, Hawaii's state bird, nearly disappeared. The planter's friend became the enemy of native wildlife. Instead of solving one problem, the mongoose created many more. The rats remained, joined by a new, even more destructive invader. The solution had backfired spectacularly. The cost: Hawaii's unique biodiversity. The lesson: nature doesn't follow human plans. The mongoose's impact was swift and devastating. Native birds like the Hawaiian rail and crow were decimated. Species that had survived for millennia vanished in decades. The forest fell silent, a haunting reminder of what was lost. Mongooses preyed on reptiles, amphibians, and insects, disrupting the entire food web. The ecosystem's balance unraveled, with ripple effects everywhere. Humans suffered too. Mongooses raided chicken coops and became a widespread pest. The animal meant to save the plantation spread across the islands, impossible to eradicate. Only Kauai and Lanai escaped, fiercely guarding against mongoose invasion. The rest of Hawaii was changed forever. The dominoes set in motion by one decision are still falling today. The cost of a quick fix, a permanent ecological crisis. The Hawaiian mongoose disaster became a global cautionary tale. It showed the world the dangers of meddling with nature without understanding the consequences. The logic seemed sound: rat predator for rat problem, but the outcome was catastrophic. The oversight was simple: one animal hunts by day, the other by night. The lesson was clear: ecological decisions demand rigorous science, not wishful thinking. The story changed conservation biology, inspiring the precautionary principle: prove it safe before you act. The mongoose became a symbol of irreversible ecological mistakes. Nature is not a machine, it's a web of relationships built over millennia. The Hawaiian experience humbled those who thought they could control nature for profit. It marked the dawn of a new era of environmental caution. The mongoose in Hawaii is more than history, it's a warning for our future. Islands are especially vulnerable. One mistake can cause irreversible damage. Today, biological controls are tested for years before release, a direct legacy of Hawaii's tragedy. The story is a metaphor for unintended consequences. Quick fixes can create bigger problems. As we face climate change and biodiversity loss, the mongoose reminds us to act with humility and caution. Our actions have lasting impacts. Responsibility is key. The silent forests of Hawaii are a monument to what's lost when we ignore nature's complexity. Remembering this story honors lost species and arms us with wisdom. Let's learn from the past so we don't repeat it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more stories that matter.